Rejoice, Outlander fans! There's no need to sing a song of a lass that is gone. Our time-traveling heroine has made it to the other side and rests comfortably as her beloved watches over her. The same can't be said regarding others in the cast. Of course, Claire Katrina Balfe survives her surgery and, through a weary voice, whispers to Jamie, Sam Heughan, that she has decided not to die today. Huge snaps to Dr. Denzel, Joey Phillips, for helping make that declaration a reality. Jane, Sylvia Present, also has high hopes for not dying today, but the odds are not in her favor. As a reporter coaxes her into sharing her vicious story, Jane boldly claims that she is unfazed that she killed a man. If she is damned to hell for eternity, then hell it shall be. Jane is determined not to give this reporter, who is only looking for sordid details to sell his paper, the satisfaction of hearing her story and the reason she committed murder. Even in irons, her thoughts are with her sister Fanny, Flory Mae Wilkinson, and chasing dragonflies when they were kids. William, Charles Vandervaart, is single-minded about finding Jane and turns to his father for help. Lord John, David Barry, listens intently while William explains that he needs to find the whereabouts of a whore he knows who has been arrested under suspicion of murder. By the way, she did actually kill someone, but there are extenuating circumstances that make it okay. Can he help? Lord John doesn't hesitate, and soon learns that Jane has signed a confession. William adamantly reminds his father that Jane was trying to save her sister from being defiled by a man who had paid to take her maidenhead. Lord John wonders out loud if William loves Jane, and William expresses how the relationship is complicated. So is murder, dude. William vowed to protect Jane and wants to know immediately where she is being held. Lord John shares the location and somberly adds that she is to be executed. Jane may not have hope, but at least William saved Fanny. 1 week later, we find Jamie helping Claire go to the bathroom in a bucket and then checking the contents for blood, which is a sign of a kidney infection. Who cares about princesses? This is the love story Disney needs to tell. Claire asks Jamie if he can take her home, and he assures her that he will once she is physically able to travel safely. That night, Claire is visited by a man in a hooded cloak who is none other than Master Raymond. Remember, he's the quirky apothecary she met in Paris. Why is he lurking around, you ask? Great question. Master Raymond tells Claire that he came to ask for forgiveness. When Claire asks why he needs to be forgiven, the man explains that she will understand one day. Then he sort of morphs into a flying bird. There's no need to ponder because Claire wakes up from her dream and quizzes Jamie if he saw Master Raymond in the church too. Jamie doesn't seem concerned, which makes sense when you have a wife who falls through stones into different timelines. Claire reminds Jamie that Master Raymond was there for her when she almost died before. He said he would see her again. Claire waits for a beat and asks Jamie if he thinks she will see their daughter one day again. And she doesn't mean the one living in 1980. Jamie smiles and tells Claire that he is optimistic it will happen. That's what makes death easier to bear. Speaking of seeing children again, out of the blue, we find Roger, Richard Rankin, and Buck, Daremaid Murtaugh, leading their horses away from Lallybroch, only to discover Jemmy standing in the road, followed by Brianna, Sophie Skelton, and Mandy. The love Richard Rankin emoted when he saw his family produced a tear in my eye. It's too bad it quickly turned to annoyance when I saw Mandy's modern-day doll in her hand. Look, I'm super happy they all ended up together in the correct timeline to find Roger, but seriously, let's burn that doll stat, find a few gemstones, and find somewhere to stay other than Lallybroch. I know Mr. Fraser likes having people in the house again, but Bree is totally cramping his mojo by looking exactly like his deceased wife. Let's move on. Bree agrees with me. It's not wise to stick around. What if her father comes home from university? And since Mandy is healthy, do they really need to return to 1980 with Rob Cameron and the horrific hairstyles and clothing options? It's not a question of where they belong, but when. While Bree and Roger weigh their options, Lord John visits Claire in the church. Jamie is still ticked off at his former buddy, yet he manages to thank Lord John for helping Ian, John Bell, find William after he hears Claire praise her friend for saving her life when she thought Jamie was dead. Lord John and Jamie halfway bury the hatchet. Claire sighs in annoyance, and Lord John bids Mrs. Fraser adieu. William eventually makes his way to the church to ask Jamie for help on a life-and-death matter. Claire encourages Jamie to go, since William has never asked him for anything. The task? Break Jane out of shackles and whisk her off into the sunset. I am here for it. As William and Jamie devise a plan, we see Jane drinking heavily and waving to the northern lights. Time is of the essence, and the father-son duo quickly learns that there's only one guard to conquer. William scoffs at the notion that a whore wouldn't have friends to come and rescue her. Jamie breaks a window, and they hoist themselves inside. The guard is effortlessly knocked unconscious. Jamie flings the keys to William, who runs upstairs shouting Jane's name. The somber music should have been my first clue, but I was too wrapped up in the euphoria of Jane, soon realizing that someone valued her life enough to save her from certain death. William finds a broken bottle on the floor. He spies the shards of glass cut into the wrists of his lovely Jane. She sits, staring out the window, lifeless. William doesn't know what to do. Jamie is stunned. I'm shocked, and then gutted when William snaps out of it and places Jane on her bed, removing the shackles from her bloodied wrists. When Jamie cuts a lock of her hair, so Fanny can have a piece of her sister, my tears turn to sobs. Naturally, William brings Fanny to meet Claire and Jamie. The Frasers offer to take Fanny in, and Jamie swears she will be safe as long as he lives. Claire escorts Fanny outside for some food, and William demands to know the truth from his biological father. Did he force himself on his mother? No, he didn't. Did Jamie love his mother? Sorry, kid. Did Jamie sleep with his mother when she was married to his father? Absolutely not. That deed occurred just before the wedding. William softens when Jamie remembers the qualities of William's mother. She was courageous, bold, and confident, and he is not sorry it happened. As Jamie touches William's cheek, the young man realizes what Jamie is insinuating. He's not sorry because the union resulted in William. Still reeling with all sorts of emotions, William backs away from Jamie and promises to never call him father. Ouch! But the pain of that gut punch is nothing compared to poor, sweet Fanny at her sister's gravesite. Apparently, Jane was buried in a field with dozens upon dozens of other people with no markers. Let's go ahead and secure a Screen Actors Guild nomination for the electric Flory May Wilkinson, who nailed the physical act of turmoil.